Welcome, everybody, to another edition of Double Play CLE. Paul here alongside Jay.
Sorry, I was turning my volume.
Fair enough. It's a good thing that the people who downloaded this on Apple Podcasts and Spotify can hear your lovely voice there. And joining us this week, a longtime friend and the co host of the Renegade Roundtable on YouTube, Jeff Kirby. Jeff, welcome to Double Play CLE.
Well, hello, everyone. In the history of Double Play CLE as a whole, I'm not making my debut, but here on this platform, I am. So here we go.
I was just going to mention you were actually one of the first guests ever in the previous incarnation of Double Play CLE. So it was only fitting to have you here on this level of Double Play CLE, something we've been working on now for, God, 4 months, 3 or 4 months now.
Busy schedule, man.
It's
Busy
been a while.
schedule.
But those of you who know Jeff know that he is a diehard Pittsburgh fan, so he can provide a little bit of perspective on Steelers stuff, Pirates stuff. But he's also a big Guardians fan. So that's one of the reasons we wanted to have him on as we prepare for the trade deadline, which is Tuesday, August 1st. The Guardians took 2 out of 3 from Philadelphia, which was fantastic this weekend. However, that third game, they looked like a completely different team. What are your thoughts, both of you, on this trade deadline? Where do the Cleveland Guardians stand heading into August 1st?
I'm going to say they need to be sellers because, I mean, while yes, you can. Here's what's weird about the Guardians is you could look at them and say, listen, they're underperforming based on the expectations that we had for them this year based on last year, which last year, let's be honest, down the stretch, they played out of their mind. Once they got to the playoffs, they were playing with house money. This year, there was some expectations. You actually spent a little bit out on Josh Bell, and then you got Mike Zunino, which thank God he is gone because I wanted him gone quicker than. And, but you can say that they're quote unquote contenders because they're contending for their division, the worst division in baseball. And if you want to say that, well, once you get in the postseason, anything can happen. But when you're really looking at this, especially in the AL, not a chance. Not a chance. So why not go out and sell? You had the worst case scenario happen with Shane Bieber, which I've been on the train now from last offseason, say I would have been okay with them trading him last offseason. I would have been okay with them trading him at the deadline here. Now that's not going to happen. So now you look at it, what's their best case scenario? Are you going to possibly look to trade Aaron Savali? Right now, his trade value is probably as high as it's ever been. So maybe you could go out and get something for him. You're in a weird spot. But and also looking at the rotation, this rotation has not been healthy all year at all. So you're kind of in a weird spot when it comes to the Guardians.
My
I love how he
biggest
cleared his throat first before he came back at it.
my biggest question would just be what are we going to get? What are we looking for here?
I want prospects. I'm not looking for anything major league
What do we
ready right now.
then I don't think we make any moves. I don't think we do anything. If we make room to bring up Oscar Gonzalez and sell off Savali just for the simple fact that our younger prospects do look good, we'll have to understand that with what comes with that is growing pains. So that is going to happen. Although I don't think Savali's a huge staple pitcher anyway, so I don't think he really rocks the boat and makes that much of a difference. So I could totally agree on selling Savali. What's funny is at this point, I probably would have said I agree with trading Shane, just for the simple fact that even if Tristan comes back this year, Tristan's still young in himself. So let the kids play, hang our hats on the young pitchers that have done fairly well in their couple games. Bibby's been doing decent. Uh, Gavin Williams, I think, has some room for improvement, but still doing good, just being uh, just absolute cannonballed into almost an everyday starter, or every, in rotation starter, however the heck you want to say it. Um, Bottoming out with, I just think we could trade Savali. That's fine. I don't really think you do anything else unless someone wants to buy high on someone like Miles Straw, which I don't think is going to happen. So I just think you buckle down and
I
hope
think I have a
that.
better shot of getting a six pack than someone buying high on Miles Straw.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. If you can, I think we buckle down on the fact that we're a second half team, that we very much can win our division, and I've said it. I don't know how long. I think that's one of my catchphrases. Is this is if all we got to do is win the division, then once we make it into the playoffs, it's a whole different game from there. So all we got to do is win the division. I don't care
As
how shitty the division is.
Real
as of
quick, I
right
want
now,
to say something about Savali real quick. Here's something that you can think about, though. Look at the previous. Now, I understand Savali is not the caliber of pitcher that some of the other guys that the Guardians have traded in the past, where you had Corey Kluber, Trevor Bauer, Mike Clevenger, where you were able to get the deals that they were able to make for Chris Antonetti and Mike Chernoff. They were able to acquire so much talent in those trades. And if you're the Guardians, I'm looking to trade him to an NL if you're going to trade him off. If there's a team that's a contender who might need starting pitching, they might be willing to, especially with the way that Savali has pitched this year, they might be willing to overpay just a little bit, which could be in the benefit of the Guardians for the future.
agreed. And Savale is 3-2 with a 2.71 ERA, 11 starts, 63 innings, 49 strikeouts, and a 1.08 WHIP, which is right around his career WHIP of 115. I like Savale. I don't love Savale. If there is somebody out there who wants to give us 2 or 3 prospects for him, I'm taking it. Simply because this is not the year for the Guardians. Right now, the top 2 teams in baseball, the tentative World Series, if it started today, would be the Baltimore Orioles at the Atlanta Braves. And nobody had that on their bingo card for 2023. It's
I
a
put a
weird
bet on that back in March, and it's going to win me about 100,000. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, and everyone's bingo card last year had the World Series being whoever it was against the Atlanta Braves. And what happened to them, Paul?
I get that, but here's where
No. You don't get that because you always tend to do this type of shit that you're doing right now. Oh, the Baltimore Orioles versus, I'm sorry, the who? We can beat the Baltimore Orioles. We have. Versus who? Who was it?
the Atlanta Braves,
The Atlanta Braves. Okay.
who
They
are the
beat us
top
two
team in baseball.
times.
Yeah, they
Like, okay.
what is the
Okay.
word
They
you used
also
once?
they also
Mollywopped us. They mollywopped us,
they
I think
also
you said.
made it they made it just as far as we did last year. And they
So
were the
you,
top team in baseball. They were
I
the top
don't
team in
think,
baseball. They
I
were the
don't
top
think,
team in baseball. Your logic right now, they were the top team in baseball, and they made it just as far as the Cleveland Guardians. That's not like this whole logic of 1 seed versus 1 seed. When the fuck does that ever happen?
I'll just sip on my tea.
When does that ever happen? When?
it's
I think
rare.
the last time it happened was last year's Super Bowl, I think, actually.
Oh, you're talking all
Which is
sports.
Well, at this point, I am because it doesn't fucking happen. That's the point. I hate this whole. The Braves are a scary ass team. Do not get me wrong; they whooped our ass. I don't want no part of the Braves. But it's just I'm just saying.
I can
I
see
get it.
I can see where Jay's coming up, like in baseball, for example. What about remember the year that the Giants won, like, what was it, 108 games? What did they do? They get eliminated in the DS.
And
Boy, I thought
Seattle,
this guy.
the Seattle
I thought you
Mariners.
meant the New York Giants. I was like, boy, that must be a record or something like that. 108 games.
No, but
The offensive line is just dead at this point. They're
oh,
108 times out there.
but yeah,
It's what you're gonna bring up that. Hello, we're are we not fans of the Cleveland Cavaliers? Did the Golden State Warriors, the best regular season team in basketball history, not lose to the Cleveland Cavaliers?
Okay,
I'm just saying that,
okay.
like I get it. I get what you're saying. I Baltimore. I love Baltimore, but I'm not scared of Baltimore either. They're a good team, but we could beat Baltimore. The Braves are a scary ass team. That is true. But I'm just saying. I'm not. There's no way we could beat these teams. Well, guess what? Maybe we don't have to if the Braves don't even make it out of the second round like last year.
Sorry, that would make me laugh. Um, so you're buying at the trade deadline, is what you're saying.
At this point, me personally, I don't really care what we do because I do think this is, as much as I hate to say it, I don't, and I don't believe in it, which is why I actually won't say it. I don't think it's a throwaway year because we still do have a chance at the division, which leaves us at a chance at the playoffs. And what are you going to do? Just not try? So I mean,
Well, the Oakland A's are doing a pretty good job of doing that.
Yeah, they're also getting ready to lose their team.
I think we should go get Shohei.
Listen, as much as I would love it, and I know that people are like, say, oh, let's go get Shohei, but like in reality, like it's the same conversation that we had last year with Juan Soto. People were saying trade the farm for Juan Soto, and in that case, you were going to get 2 years of control out of him. This, you're going to get what, a half a season of Shohei Ohtani,
You get less than 60 games.
which it's a different story if you're one of the bigger market teams. For us, I no, that would be
The only teams
I'm
that are
I'm
going to
gonna
be
lose some respect for Shohei if he goes to the Yankees.
he doesn't have a say in the matter. He doesn't have a no trade clause. He goes wherever the Angels decide to send him. Now,
Yeah,
granted,
well, he
in the
can be
off
like, I'm not
season,
playing. I'll retire.
it's not Ken Griffey Jr.
He can be.
You know that story, right?
Yeah, I
It's the
bet you.
greatest.
He'd sit.
You think
He's like,
Shohei
I'm not
Ohtani
playing.
would
No, I'm
rather
just kidding.
sit?
The Yankees are a terrible ass team, man. Last place could be us.
which, by the
And that
way,
brings us to our favorite segment of the show. You know it, you love it, and it is almost sponsored. The paperwork has been drawn up. It has not been closed. The deal has not been closed, but it's almost sponsored. Ladies and gentlemen, fuck the Yankees.
Fuck
real
the
quick,
Braves.
I want to give a shout out to my co-host on the Renegade Roundtable podcast, Jared, because he is a diehard Yankee fan, and I just made him go.
Fuck Jared. Fuck the Yankees. What a piece of shit.
Hey, listen, I made him go on a 10-minute rant of the New York Yankees, and it was the greatest thing I have witnessed in a while.
Dude, Yankees fans don't know how to respond to being in fourth and fifth place. It is the
Yankees
greatest.
fans are
Watching them
trash.
fall to pieces when we've done that, we've been there, we know how that feels, and they spend all this money, and you know what they have to show for it? Fourth place in the American League East, and their top division leader
Are they fourth
is the
again?
Baltimore Orioles. Yes, they did climb out of the cellar, unfortunately. But the fact that the Baltimore Orioles are not only better than the Yankees, but aggressively better than the Yankees is just so wonderful. I wish
Like,
I
well,
could live in that universe
they're
forever.
tied for last in the division with the Boston Red Sox at 53 and 47.
They've got the tiebreaker though, so I have to give them
Actually,
fourth
no.
place.
When I'm looking on ESPN right now, they have them as last and Boston as fourth.
That means the Yankees are in last. Fuck the Yankees.
Hey,
You know what?
everybody,
Here,
celebrate.
this is me. I knew me smoking this was gonna be great because I'm smoking on that Yankee pack.
Yeah,
Ah,
Yankees are definitely trash, and they got a lot of problems too. They really do. I'm going to say this, and Paul's going to jump all over me, but you almost feel bad for them.
I don't feel bad for them for a single second. They are getting what they deserve. You want to buy a World Series? There's consequences to that action.
If they're trying to do
You
that, they
think
have
you
a
think we
massive.
can trade Straw for Fran Milbeck?
Wait, what?
I
I
don't
said,
know.
so you think we could trade Straw for Fran Milbeck?
Is he in the Yankees organization?
No, not the fucking Yankees. The Yankees won't take Miles Straw. They hate him.
that would be
That
that would
would
be
be
great to see
great.
what their fan base would react to that. Miles Straw, it's crazy how Miles Straw hate is real, which I am one of the 7 billion people who have the hate for Miles Straw. But it was fun how there was a span of time where Guardians fans absolutely loved Miles Straw based off of that whole situation that happened in New York.
The
He
thing with
must be letting it get to him too. He's making a lot of defensive uh
Error.
mistakes that he doesn't normally make. Um,
it was
and he's
actually
making up for it later in the game. But if you don't make the mistake in the first place, then he can just look like the hero by making that throw to home.
and the thing of it is with Miles Straw, if you look at the defensive metrics, he is the worst defensive center fielder in baseball currently.
Yeah, we know, Paul. You say this every show.
Because if I don't say it, nobody listens. They just it like we got to get rid of him. I like Miles Straw as a human being, but as a
Nah, I
baseball
don't think we need
player,
to get
I
rid of
can
him.
definitely improve.
Nah, we don't need to get rid of him. He's
God,
fine.
could we agree that we need to improve on Tim Herron? I
Can we
think
just
one
agree that
of
we just need to help on the whole bullpen?
well, I agree with you, but one of the three of us in a group chat said some rather offensive comments about Mr. Herron and his existence in life.
Hey Jay, look at my
Yeah.
face real quick. Inside joke, by the way.
Between
And
that and a
live.
Dude, was anybody else listening, watching that game? Were you guys at work? What?
I was in the process of grilling and smoking pork belly burnt ends all day. That was my
Yeah,
excuse.
because that dude was absolute trash, followed by, I think it was Sandlin, who got out of that inning. Then the very next inning proceeded to walk another guy. He walked the bases loaded on literally like 15 pitches. It was disgusting. The stupid three batter rule. Because if not, he would have been out. Like, ain't no way. Get him off the team, and then we put him in again today. Like, come on, you're just asking for trouble.
Yeah, I
At
was
the end of
actually
the
just going
day,
to point out that in this series against Philadelphia, 0-1 with four
0-1.
walks.
What did he win?
I said 0-1. He went
0-1
0-1.
what? 0-1 what?
Zero loss, zero wins, one loss.
I heard that he's won 0-1 what? What did he win?
If I could strangle you through the video screen right now, I would.
He's even more mad that I got him and he was responding to it.
come on, Paul.
Wait, okay, so who? Okay, I'm sorry. Go
One
ahead,
inning
Paul.
of
Who's
work, by the way. He only had one official inning because of those three walks. His
it? Wasn't
ERA
even an
jumped.
inning.
It's by the numerical standards. It isn't. It was 0 innings of work. So in the two of the three games that we played against Philadelphia, he appeared twice and basically coughed up both games, including taking the loss Sunday afternoon in the 10th inning against Philadelphia with that whole 4-run nonsense in the 10th inning.
Wait, he lost today?
Yeah, he lost today.
Yeah. I
1-1 on the
gotta.
season with a 5.5 ERA, 24 and a third innings, 28 Ks. There's not a whole lot here to see that's going to improve for this guy. I'm going
I
to say
gotta
something
admit,
that I don't want to say here. I would
he's
rather
ass.
have James Karinchak.
Yeah. I admittedly, as a bad fan, turned off the game after we got our second out in the bottom of the ninth, and then I guess David Fry hit a home run.
Yes, he did.
But then
David
we still
Fry.
managed to. So then we still managed to lose the game.
Yes.
So within the case, I'm happy I turned off the game because boy, oh boy, I would have been.
And
I mean,
I
at
would
one
have been
point we were
livid.
talking about going to that game.
I'll say, yeah, pulling back the curtain just a half a step. We Jay had mentioned about trying to go to the game today, and
Yeah, but what did I say? But what did I say?
but that's what I was getting ready to get to. Is in your defense, you also said, yeah, we'll probably end up losing this game, and then well, sure as hell enough, that happened. So
We should have won it too. That's this part about the Guardians that pisses me off. Miles Straw doesn't piss me off. Ahmed Rosario doesn't piss me off. Tito being a freaking blockhead sometimes doesn't piss me off. The people not getting called up and the call ups and the call downs not making a whole lot of sense sometimes isn't what pisses me off. The shitty lineups every day isn't what pisses me off. It's the fact that we lose these games we should be winning.
There was a lot that you listed off there before you got to the part that you were pissed off about. So that leads me to believe that you might be slightly pissed off about those things.
Maybe aggravated, but I see all these people complaining about all that stuff all the time on Twitter, and I'm just like, I don't get it. Like,
no, it's Twitter.
It's whatever. That's what I'm saying. I'm like, it's whatever. But when I'm watching these games and stuff like that happens, that's what makes me mad. I'm not mad at my guys who go out there and they try their hardest and we lose a game. It happens. But when we lose these games that we should win, that we need to win, at this point in the season, every game is basically must win. We're at like our magic number is like 68 or something.
One more.
How many games are left?
Oh, we just had game number 99.
I'm not sure, but what I do know is the fact that you've mentioned all of those issues, and the Guardians are still only 3 games back of the division. Now, it doesn't help that in the last 10, Minnesota's 8-2 on a 3-game win streak. But yeah, that's what's crazy about it. Like we're having
Minnesota will fall, just like they always do.
Will they?
Yeah, I just told you they would, Paul. Yeah, Paul.
Oh, for the love of
Here, do
God.
I have to do it for you? Yeah, Paul.
Boy, I didn't need that permanently emblazoned on my podcast show.
This is what happens when you bring me on. You know I get to bring in all the little inside stuff from
You want some cheesy bread?
Oh my God.
I have this is where
my
we're
entire
at.
weekend. That's been my entire weekend. I've had to cradle my temple here and hope that something horrible doesn't happen.
It's also funny because I did well, I have to remind because this is coming out on what, Monday?
Yes, this will be on Monday.
Okay, so it'll still come out on Monday. It was funny how I had just saw Sir Paulie at his work of employment for like the 3rd time in a span of like a week because I keep on having to go to his work of employment.
Which, if they would like to be mentioned on the air, they could pay us.
Once again, I think I have a better shot of being built like Mark Wahlberg than that happening. Because right now I'm more built like a Mark Wahlberger than anything.
Okay.
Yeah, we're live.
We're not actually live. We don't do this live.
Well,
cut all that out.
We are actually going to try to start doing this live, and that was actually something I was going to mention a little bit later in the broadcast, but there are plans in the works for a live adaptation of Double Play CLE in the future, so keep an eye on that. And most of the podcasts here on Believe Land Media. I know there has been a heavy push amongst a lot of us to go live and bring all of you into these great discussions, and we are actively working to make that happen.
Listen.
So, what do you think we should do at the deadline, Paul?
It's tough because what we should have done is already been bulldozed. We can't trade Shane Bieber because he's not worth anything anymore. I would get rid of Savale. I don't think there's enough of a reason to keep him. I think you have enough young arms in AAA that can get you through to the end. And who knows?
What prospects do you want for him?
I would like a right-handed bat for one. That would be really nice. That's been a problem.
Why do we need bats?
I would like a right-handed bat because that's been a problem for the Guardians for years. Yes, we've had switch hitters.
To be fair, though, what Paulie's saying does make a point, because this is what the way that the Guardians have been able to be successful over the last few years with these trades. You trade pitching for bats, because we all know that the Guardians farm system is just an absolute factory for pitching. So why not use what your specialty is in pitching to go and get yourself a bat or two, or whatever the hell they're going to do. And like, that kind of makes sense, because I mean, you look at the last few trades that they've been able to make, that's what they've done. I mean, your trade
I'll raise you guys this. When is the last time we've traded at the deadline for a bat that you remember / was good / made an impact or a playoff run impact?
So I'm not asking for a
literally that.
I want a
here. I can give you something. That's what happened with Clevenger, because you ended up getting Josh Naylor, at least, and that who ended up being, if I'm not mistaken, an immediate impact.
Okay,
he's had a definite impact on the culture of the Guardians.
Did we get Naylor from Clevenger?
If I'm not mistaken,
I'm going to double check that, but I think
If you guys are both saying then that's probably right.
I do remember exactly where I was at when I was at a doctor's office when that trade happened, because I almost yelped. I'm like, oh shoot! I don't know if I could cuss on here, but I was like, oh shoot!
We have a segment called "Fuck the Yankees."
That is very well true. You know, once in a while.
I don't have anything more to say to that.
Which is the reason why I'm currently smoking on my Yankees pack.
I don't know where that trade was. I don't know.
The trade was Clevenger and Greg Allen for Josh Naylor, Cal Quantrill, Austin Hedges, Owen Miller, Gabriel Arias, and Joey Cantillo, who is also just about to get ready to come up to the show as it stands. So yes, that was one of the best trades we've made in a while.
What position are you taking a bat?
Second base.
Interesting.
Yeah, so second base.
Yes, in that case,
the reason why is I would rather have Andres Jimenez potentially
at shortstop. That's fine. That's fine.
And second base.
That's fine. I agree with that.
Find a solid bat that can play second. You're not seeing a whole lot of that beyond Luis Ariz.
Andres needs to play short. He's a little weasel out there on that fucking he needs to play short. I agree with you on that. I'll give you that.
How many
I
years
like Gabriel Arias. I think he's going to be fine, but I think maybe
Boo! Gabriel Arias, get him off my team. I do not want him, dude.
But
no way. Unless he learns how to.
Another year in Columbus might help him.
Bro, no. You want to bitch and moan about Bo Naylor, but you're going to be like, oh, Gabriel Arias, man, come on. Get the fuck out of here.
You know what? That totally could make sense for that whole second base, because I didn't realize Ahmed Rosario was a free agent at the end of the year.
Yeah,
so
I would
all the Bo Naylors, all the Bo Naylor haters have to officially suck it.
You know what? I'm not a hater of Bo Naylor. The part that I'm hating is the fact that we're not. I feel like we barely see him. I understand that they have a 3-man rotation at catcher.
That when I say Tito being a blockhead, that is one of the things I speak of. Like, why in the hell is Bo Naylor not playing every single day? I don't give a shit, and I know it doesn't matter right now because he's not playing. But I don't give a shit who. Now, I was gonna say who Shane Bieber wants. I don't. Why are we playing by? I guess. Let me explain myself here. I guess I understand from a winning standpoint that if you think as a coach that they're the best combination, then fine. But my pitcher is not going to tell me who my catcher for the day is going to be. That's all I'm saying.
And on top of it, it should be like if we were all we were all craving and wanting Bo Naylor to come up from the minor leagues because we saw what happened with Mike Zunino. I remember I was at a game against the Astros where it was the game where he threw in like he was trying to throw to second and it went to the outfield multiple times in like the same inning.
Yeah, dude.
Loaded into we want Bo Naylor. So it's like, okay, he's up. if he's supposed to be the catcher of the future, why are we not seeing him more? Is it something like that's something that I'm not getting with this?
I'm almost worried if this is the same thing as what we're going to see with our pitching, is that we're going to go through load management with Bo Naylor. I don't think they want him to be the everyday starter yet. I think they want him to start fresh in 2024 with the job, with no concerns except go out there every day and do it.
No one's given me anything other than the fact, and this is coming from people on Twitter, so I mean, take it as you will, that Cam can call a better game than Bo. So I guess all in all is great, but at the end of the day, I mean,
if you look at just today in a nutshell, the game didn't get out of hand until Bo Naylor was brought in to catch.
Well, here's the thing.
Please, you're gonna blame that on Bo Naylor.
If you're saying that Cam Gallagher is a better pitch caller than Bo Naylor, even in a small sample size, you have that in today's game.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, is Cam Gallagher we all know that Bo Naylor is the catcher of the future. That's going to be our catcher for the next 4 or 5 years. If that's the case, unless
he gets traded at the deadline,
is going to give them the best shot to, if they still feel like they're going to really try to contend for this division, and if they feel like Cam Gallagher, it sucks, but maybe okay. But if they're kind of waving the white flag at this point, why not let him catch almost every single day? Give him a day off here or there, but why not let him get that experience? I understand that, like, the quote unquote, it is not just from the defensive side, but from the offensive side as well. Why not allow him to see more major league pitching? Why not help him? Because to me, I'm one of those believers that the best way to develop your skills in sports is in-game action, whether it's in football, whether it's, it's all about getting that in-game reps. So why not let him get the more experience? Why not let him call more games? Why not? That's the part that doesn't get me.
Are you including David Fry when you say we have a 3-man catcher rotation?
Well, yes, but I understand that,
that's exactly what I was going to say. I said I wouldn't even use that as an excuse because David Fry's not even like in the catcher rotation. He's kind of just our utility guy. Honestly, I like Cam Gallagher the least. Like, I like David Fry probably second best, to be honest. I mean, he seems to be hitting pretty well, or at least decently enough. You see, Tito did make the defensive substitution late in the game. Well, gosh. Saturday. I was going to say yesterday. I said, but I want to put it on a date. Yes, Saturday. To take Rosario out and put Arias in.
And also on Sunday, he did pinch hit Tito for Cam Gallagher with Rosario, and he could have left Rosario in and moved him to short and taken out Tyler Freeman, who was the shortstop for that game. And instead, it was a pinch hit, and out he went. That's improvement. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that every decision Tito Francona makes is the right one or perfect, but I'm going to tell you that if I'm trusting somebody with my team, it's going to be a World Series champion. It's going to be Terry Francona.
Yeah. He's a Hall of Famer. We get it. But, you know who else is a Hall of Famer? Tony La Russa. That's all I got to say.
I would take Tony La Russa. He's a great manager.
I bet you would.
White Sox didn't know what they had.
As we witnessed in Chicago last year, what was it, 23 runs put against them. That was honestly, that's one of the craziest games I've ever seen. Watching the Astros just
21-5.
21.
We were actually just talking about that the other day.
That's insane.
I think it's the most runs I've ever seen scored in one game. It's kind of nuts.
You know who else is a Hall of Famer?
This is not going to be good, is it?
Babe Ruth.
You know who else is a Hall of Famer? Pete Rose.
Pete Rose. Damn it.
Well, you know who else is a Hall of Famer? the two newest members of the Hall of Fame in Cooperstown.
Is Barry
Scott
Bonds in
Rowland
there?
and what?
Is Barry Bonds in there? No?
No.
Well, then we have more issues with Major League Baseball and Hall of Fame, but that'll be a different conversation for a different day.
Scott Rowland and Fred McGriff joining the esteemed luminaries in Cooperstown, New York. Very happy for both of them. I don't think McGriff is a Hall of Famer, but that's just my personal opinion.
That's because you don't want
to... Look, Fred McGriff tore my team apart in the 1995 World Series. I don't want to talk about it.
Well, see, again, I
tore my team apart in the World Series, so I don't think you should be a Hall of Famer.
95 in that World Series, I was -4 years old, so I was 4 in the whole years old.
4 in the hole. So,
I just you okay there, Paul?
I don't know where to go from there. I don't know where to go from there. But so final thoughts before we move on. What is one thing you expect to see at the All-Star? I almost said All-Star. At the trade deadline. What is one team that you think is going to make a move that might be flying under the radar right now?
Cincinnati.
I like that.
Yeah, because Ellie De La Cruz, all that hype's falling off now.
Well, you look at that team, and they're just a solid team. They're a
half game out of that division, by the way, too.
Yeah, they've been battling for that division lead all season, and they've continually brought something new and fresh to keep it going.
Didn't they get whooped by Milwaukee?
Okay, yeah, you get beaten once or twice. That happens. Nobody goes 162-0.
Yeah, they got shut out like 2 games in a row at home by Milwaukee, though.
What are you, the negative Nancy?
No, I'm just saying, like, they're a young team just like we are. So I don't think, I don't really think they have a whole lot to hang on to. Other than Votto. You take Votto off, and they might be younger than us. I think he's holding them afloat.
I'm actually curious to see what MLB teams by age.
All right, Jay, who you've got making a deal at the deadline?
I don't know. I just want to see Dylan Cease go somewhere that's not the White Sox so I can actually root for him.
The Cincinnati Reds are the 4th youngest team in baseball. Yeah, the Guardians, youngest, then the Miami Marlins, then the Los Angeles Dodgers, then the Reds.
Kind of surprised about the Dodgers. They've got Freeman, Mookie Betts, Clayton Kershaw. That alone should have brought their age up a little bit.
And that's according to
just want Dylan Cease to go somewhere so I can root for him.
Okay, well, hypothetically,
where
would you like to see him
go? He can't go to Houston. I want to see him go to Baltimore, but I don't think he is anymore because they picked up what's his face. Or wait, no, who was that? Who just picked up Shintaro or whatever his name is?
Shintaro Fujinami. Yes, that was.
Yeah.
That sounds like a WWE wrestler from the mid-2000s.
Funaki?
Yeah, he would be getting booed, unfortunately, based on those parameters.
Didn't Baltimore also just pick up somewhat recently Aaron Hicks?
Yes, the struggling New York Yankee
who got booed at Yankee Stadium as he came out after he was DFA'd by them.
Yankees.
I'll tell you what, that is a weird ass fan base. And I don't even mean it like they're shitty or they're a terrible fan base. They're just weird. That don't even make sense. What are you booing at? You hated him. You wanted him off your team. You cheered when you DFA'd him, and now you boo him when he comes back on a different team. I'm so confused. Y'all are weird.
Feel like first and foremost, it's the Yankees. So we all know that anything they do is
but that's what I'm saying. That's like right now. That's like I'll give you the exact same situation. That's if we DFA Straw right now, and Straw goes to Detroit, and the next time Detroit's in town, we boo Straw.
Or that'd be like Zunino.
That makes no sense to me. That makes no sense to me. I mean, I you know what? Actually, saying it like that, it kind of does. Because the shithead fans which there's a lot of them within Yankees culture, if not like 99% of them, if not like 100. So like the shithead fans are gonna boo him because why? Because you hated him because he sucked on your team, and then especially him because now he's going to Baltimore and actually playing well. So they're like, you piece of shit. So I could seeing it from a shithead fan's point of view makes a little bit more sense.
I mean, honestly, like I could see that happening. Like if Zunino were to sign, has Zunino signed anywhere yet, or
No,
no?
he's sitting
So
there
that,
gathering dust at this point, and rightfully so.
as he should, but that'd be like him signing somewhere. He comes back to Cleveland, and Cleveland fans, which I mean, I could see, but
Oh, if Zunino comes back,
Poor
he would get.
Zunino. See, I don't like to sit here and like talk like I hope the dude doesn't get a job. Except for Tim Herron. He can go ride. That
And
guy
we
can
just
go.
revealed our hand
Like
as to who was the one who was so negative about Tim Herron.
who you?
That, that guy, that guy, that guy.
Don't point at Jeff.
well, right now on my screen, you're pointing at nothing.
We'll fix it in post. God damn it!
Anyway, you should have went this way. Oh, that way.
No, on my screen, you're pointing at me.
I am, but he's
Oh
not.
my
He
god.
would be pointing at me if he pointed this way.
Jay's the one who said horrible things about Tim Herron. Let's establish that fact because there are people listening on a download who are going, "What the hell are they doing?" Jesus.
So
God.
anyway, yes, I don't
This
like
is
to do
why
that.
you should move on.
I don't like to do that about people though. I really don't. Like it sucks.
Though you just did with Tim Herron.
No, Tim Herring can rot. I don't like I and you know what? Someone put it into the exact words when I was sitting there just like absolutely flabbergasted at what I was listening to.
Was that the
By the time there was like and you guys, I don't know, like I said, like you guys said you weren't watching it. I was listening to the game. There was seriously about 12 balls in a row. And I'm sitting here going, what in the fuck is going on here? And someone tweeted out, I cannot believe that is the performance I just witnessed from what is supposed to be a professional baseball pitcher. And that is exactly how I felt. Like, what? Like, who is like that? That's fine. That's fine that he's a normal human being. And and he wants to go and do whatever. But do not come out here lying to my organization, telling me you're a fucking pitcher and you literally can't give me one strike. That was absolutely, it was disgusting. Like what? And like, if I'm not mistaken, I don't remember what was going on then, but we were winning. That was the Philly game on Saturday.
baby?
The game we won 6-5, that we should have won 6-2, that we should have lost. That's the game I'm talking about.
That is a wild roller coaster of this is how that should have gone.
It was a game that we should have won 6-2, that we won 6-5, that we should have lost. That's exactly the best description of it.
Is this a new segment calling "This is what should have happened"?
At this point, we're going to call it Millennium Force.
Chris
Just
Benoit
one
should have just left
gigantic
the
ass
house.
roller coaster.
So, how's everyone's day going?
You know, I was just
He
looking ahead.
should have just left the house. If he would have just left the house.
God. I was just looking ahead because we were talking about the Reds and the Brewers. That is going to be a big series starting on Monday. So Reds Brewers, that's something to keep an eye on, especially heading into the trade deadline.
I'm going to be very curious. I'm talking about that division just for a second. I'm curious to see who all is going to sell off on. The Pirates are going to sell off on. That's what I'm curious to see, who all they sell off on now.
The name that I think you should be prepared for is Carlos Santana. I think they'll move him at the deadline.
Bro, I'll take Carlos Santana back any day. Any day. I've said that for years. Ever since, as soon as he left, I'll take
Real quick,
Carlos Santana back any
You
day.
want to know where I think he's going to end up?
Cleveland?
Texas.
you know what? I'll be real quick. I'm gonna name one person from the
Carlos
Pirates.
Santana, the Shaq of baseball.
I'm gonna name one name off the
Can't hit a
Pirates
free throw?
that might get traded, and then I'm gonna make a comparison between the Pirates and Guardians real quick. Is I think the name to watch out for the Pirates would be David Bednar, their closer.
Who absolutely fell apart in his last appearance against the Angels. My God.
But what I was gonna say is, and I think I mentioned this to you guys in the group chat. I may or may not have. Here, I know I mentioned this on Twitter. What's funny about is Austin Hedges in Cleveland down the stretch last year. He was beloved. We understand that he swung the pool noodle for a bat, but defensively he was phenomenal. He could call a game and he brought the energy. Pirates fans, oh my lord, they boo him so much, and it's just it's the same exact thing. Like I saw a stat where like in terms of framing as a catcher, he was one of the best, if not the best, framing catchers in baseball. So defensively, he's making pitchers better, obviously, but you know that he can't swing a bat to save his life. But they're just booing the hell out of him. And then here in Cleveland, he was so beloved down the stretch.
I distinctly remember Miles Straw supporting him. So take that with however you like.
Miles Straw can, well, I'm not going to go as far as to what someone said in our group chat, but I would like for him to be off of the team. But I do respect and understand that while, yes, he's maybe had some blunders defensively, I do give him the props that defensively he has been, for the most part, pretty damn good for us as well.
I'm actually looking forward
Guys are
to.
all haters.
I'm not a hater. I'm looking forward to the fact that all three of us are going to be heading out to the Pirates Braves game just after the deadline, August 8th, I think it is.
Yes.
It'll be actually 1 week removed from the deadline. So I'm kind of curious to see who's going to be on those two teams. I think the Braves are going to make a huge push at the deadline.
Well, yeah. Real quick, I want to say this. I'm going to pull back the curtain another half an inch real quick. It's funny how this whole...
Would you stop touching my fucking curtain?
See what happened was. But no, it's funny how he just mentioned we're going to Pittsburgh for that game. While that conversation was going on, there was a conversation of that game going on as I'm sitting in PNC Park. So I'm sitting there on Tuesday at the Pirates Guardians game, watching the Guardians just absolutely obliterate the Pirates.
You'll love to see it.
It's funny. I'm wearing literally this hat, which is, I mean, whatever. Still wearing this hat, but I mean, it's just because I haven't gotten a new hat, and walking a Pittsburgh shirt. So, and my caption is just "Go Team."
I'm disappointed you didn't take a sign that said, "I just hope both teams have fun."
Yeah, I wasn't doing all of that.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to that. The Atlanta Braves will be the 30th and final team that I have yet to see live in person. So once I do that with you gentlemen, that'll be the list.
Ironic that this will be the second time I've seen the Braves in my life, and the first time was in 2019. It was on Easter. It was at the time when the Indians played them, and the Braves absolutely shelled us to no end.
It's worth pointing out that I think a lot of the fact that I've been able to complete that particular list is because of the new scheduling and the fact that you have to play every game.
There we go.
So you might be wondering
my kids are
why
jumping around.
Well, you should probably
keep hearing them yell or something.
Jump around.
That's because I left the TV on. I didn't tell them to actually go to bed.
Well, what were you getting ready to say, Paulie?
I was going to say, you might be wondering why Jay is wearing that Perros Caliente jersey, and I have a rubber duck on my hat this week. As you recall, Believe Land Media had a night at Canal Park for the Akron Rubber Ducks, as it was the Rubber Ducks and the Richmond Flying Squirrels. And the Rubber Ducks were in their Copa de División jerseys, representing Perros Caliente de Akron. And we won. And the first pitch by our owner, Kevin Sleds, and Guardians of the CLE host, James Ellifritz, was over the plate. The boys brought it home. We didn't embarrass anybody. No sir yacht crap. It was a good, clean pitch from our duo. So congratulations to everybody there. A lot of fun. I love going to Rubber Ducks.
Also, congratulations to the kids that upstaged both of them and threw heaters right over the plate. I knew you weren't, which is why I did.
I was going to be nice to them.
To the person who edits this, that hopefully bleeps out Paulie saying that name that he mentioned, because no one should be ever giving that man any more publicity.
Yeah, but I wanted to make sure to hammer home the fact that he's a douchebag.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, he'll get once.
Yeah, I guess that's right.
Third dumb fuck.
I missed the name.
I did want to point out Akron's pitcher, Will Dion, who won the game for the Ducks, is 2-1 on the season as of that game. 6 innings, 2 hits, 1 walk, 7 Ks. His season ERA at 2.95. I can't wait to see this guy. There has been a lot of positive buzz about Will Dion, and I want to see more of him, and I want to see him make it to Columbus before the end of the season, because he should be on the fast track to Cleveland. He looked fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, good. If that's the case, then that could be another example of yet another pitcher that comes up through the organization that just ends up hopefully being pretty good for us. And yet again, it's another reason why I'd be okay with us trading away Savali. I mean, with the way that we're able to just produce pitching like no tomorrow, there's no reason for us to ever and yes, I used to be at one point in time, because I'm still a huge fan of Shane Bieber, yes. But I do understand, especially with pitching, there's no reason why we should really be signing these pitchers to long-term deals with the way that we're able to just produce pitching and throughout our minors.
Not to mention how many of these pitchers are having to deal with Tommy John surgery.
Yeah, I mean, there's we don't know. There's still the possibility that McKenzie might have to get Tommy John.
Oh, you don't even want to think about that.
You don't, but I mean, that's a possibility still. And if that's the case, that's really going to could affect the decision making that they want to make for this season and going into next year, because realistically speaking, you're going to probably trade Bieber at the deadline. And if that's the case, then who would be the next man up to be your ace? Tristan McKenzie. If Tristan McKenzie is going to be out all next year, now you're in a real sticky spot with your starting pitching. Which makes me wonder in the back of my head, now that I say about the whole Savali thing, makes me wonder if they're keeping that in the back of their minds as well. Although Savali, here's the thing too, if I'm not mistaken, Savali has a decent amount of control left.
I think you're right about that. I think he still has 3 years.
So it's a sticky situation. Thank God I'm not the ones having to make that decision. But I'm very curious to see how they're going to handle this deadline. Now, like I said, if for some reason they were to buy, it would be obviously something very small. It's not going to be anything crazy, but you never know. I mean, this is just such a weird situation. And it's based on, how does the front office think of this team? Do they think, all right, we're going to just kind of look into 2024, or are they looking at this as, we're still going to try to compete this year and we're still going to try to make a push for the playoffs?
So this might be worth noting with Aaron Savale. He's arbitration eligible next year. And the Guardians really don't like doing ARB deals. His free agent status won't hit until 2026. So you've got at least 2 more years after this season. But the arbitration stuff, that can get really sticky, especially from the perspective of the team that signed the player. because you have to go in there and basically badmouth them to keep their costs down, which is a really dumb system, by the way. This should not exist.
There's a lot of things with baseball that are just weird.
By the way, if you ever wanted to see proof that baseball is just weird and wacky, the Akron Rubber Ducks Richmond Flying Squirrels game that we had Wednesday night, July the 19th, 2-1 Akron. The night prior, Richmond beat Akron 17-8. So we went from 25 combined runs the night before to 3 on 8 combined hits the next day. That's why I love baseball. Every time you think you've seen everything, something new happens.
Yeah.
And Paul traded Lotte.
Real quick, I want to ask you guys.
I was actually going to get to that point. So, but you had a comment, so go right ahead.
No, real quick, I wanted to ask you guys something. I'm not sure if this is something you guys have discussed before, but I'll ask you right now. So you guys have been to some games this year with the new rule of the pitch clock, blah, blah, blah. What are your guys' overall thoughts on that? And everyone that's viewing this, if you guys are watching this on video, drop a comment on this. What are your guys' thoughts on the time clock, on the pitch clock and the overall time of play? Because, well, yes, you have like us three. We are baseball fans. We were going to go to the games regardless. But when you're bringing up, when you have the fans that were not wanting to go because the games were too long or watching because the games were too long, now with those games being shortened, I mean, look at attendance this weekend. If I'm not mistaken, that was the largest 3-game stretch that we've had for attendance in quite some time.
2 of the 3 were sold out. Friday and Saturday were complete sellouts.
I believe, without giving any opinion whatsoever, I will state that attendance has been up 40%, and the Guardians have seen more sellout crowds this year than within like the last 5 years.
And Cleveland fans know a thing or two about selling out that stadium for baseball.
455.
It speaks for itself.
I will say, while I'm still not a fan of the pitch clock, it's clunky and I don't like it. I love the new base path. The new bases being larger has increased the base running capacity. It's increased stolen bases. It's increased
action.
Yes. And that's exciting. I just looking at the stolen base leader, which is Ronald Acuna of the Atlanta Braves with 46, and Esteury Ruiz of the A's has 43. I can't remember the last time we were at just past the All-Star break and nearly at 50 stolen bases for one player, let alone 2.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
quite happy with that, and that's something that I'm not going to argue about that.
I'm actually looking to see like just the history over the last few years.
At one point, Whit Merrifield was the stolen base leader, and I want to say he had 25 for the season, and that just seems silly. What are you doing?
Last year, according to Baseball Reference, John Birdie from the Miami Marlins last year was 41 stolen bases last year
for the whole season.
Yeah, the last time we've had anyone over 50 was back in 2017 when you had D. Gordon, who had 60.
And D. Gordon was just a freak athlete when it came to his incredible speed and stolen base acumen.
Yeah, that's the one thing that is nice though, and that's that's something that Major League Baseball wanted to do, was try to attract more action, and that's a way to do it. There's more action, and you absolutely love that as a fan, especially when you're at these games.
So I was just looking at something here. When is the last time that the home run league leader was traded at the deadline? Because that's what we're looking at right now.
Arson Judge to the Giants.
My God. That's what we're looking at, though, if Shohei Ohtani is traded at the deadline. He currently leads Major League Baseball with 36 home runs to Matt Olson's 32. I can't imagine what has to be going through the Angels ownership's minds to potentially trade away one of the most important players in baseball in this generation and get next to nothing for him.
Yeah, what the way that this whole thing with Shohei is, I mean, he's just absolutely he's
I get a
incredible.
LeBron-ish vibe from Shohei. He's just being held down by the shitty Angels, and he'll go somewhere else, and he'll probably win a ring or two.
You know what I love?
Maybe go back to the Angels and win them a ring. Who knows?
You know what I love is the daily tweets of where Shohei Ohtani and Mike Trout, they do all this beyond crazy stuff just for them to lose 5-3.
It is nuts. That team should be arguably the greatest team of this era, and they can't
Mike
get out
Trout
of their own
overrated.
way. Hey, I've said that for years, but I kept getting railed for it.
Well, for the longest time, yes, you were insane, but now obviously he's not the best player in baseball.
I've been saying it too.
Which I'm surprised from Jay because of the fact that he's a Philly guy and he's a big Eagles fan.
What does that have to do with anything?
Because you always will find ways to have attraction to people based from other sports.
What's that got to do with Mike Trout?
Because
He's
Mike Trout
from
was
the area.
he's from Philly. You like the Eagles, and
Yeah. I didn't know Mike Trout was from Philly. I don't care. He's still overrated.
I can't say he's overrated.
So
I can.
one question I had as we were at that Rubber Ducks game, the Akron Rubber Ducks are very well known for their extreme menu of ballpark foods. And it got me to thinking as I was eating the buffalo chicken nachos that I ordered. What is your favorite ballpark food that you've ever had? I already know
Really, Paul.
Jay's.
Ooh,
You don't know mine.
Yes, I do.
What is it?
Okay, it's a tie because that's the way you are. It's going to be at the minor league level, it's elotes. And then you're going to be like, but my favorite major league food is crab fries.
Well, I don't know. I haven't even thought about it yet, to be honest. So I don't know what I was
You
going
know
to
what?
say.
You're just mad because I got it right. Suck it. Yeah.
well, considering the fact
You're,
that two things. Number one, we didn't see that because of your screen.
I
So,
know. I'm
yeah,
so disappointed
yeah.
about that.
and number two, it's ironic
So
that you
suck
say
it.
that because of the whole Twitter. I guess they're rebranding to X, which I tweeted out earlier. I said the only X that I'm acknowledging, and it was DX doing the. That's an X you could see.
What
I
is
do
your
like me some
favorite?
crab fries, though.
Yes, you do. That's one of the reasons we're going to the Pirates
There's
game.
nothing wrong with that.
Just admit that I got it right. I know you better than you think.
I never even said you were wrong. I just said I didn't know what I was going to say because I didn't think about it yet.
That's you
But
trying to weasel your way out of saying that I was right.
that is not true.
Was I right?
Yeah, probably. I don't see what else. I don't. There's not really a whole much. You asked that, and there's not like a whole lot you can get. The New York pizza was pretty good,
Yeah,
but
you
was it
ate on
better
that
than the
for
crab fries? No.
See, I can cheat on this and say Permanente Bros because my first time I ever had it was in PNC Park. Um, which, man, that is a very good. I think honestly, the best thing that I've ever had was what I just had on Tuesday, the all you can eat, where I just, no, I'm just kidding. I don't really know.
I know, right? That's what I'm saying.
I
well, that's why
mean,
it's a fun question. It's not supposed to
helmet
be
nachos are
heavy.
like the helmet nachos at Progressive Fields are always real. No,
Nachos
it
suck.
is. No, you know what it is. My favorite thing that I've had that's not first and foremost, you are absolutely wrong there. And that's coming from me being a fat fuck. So therefore I can speak on that.
Nachos are arguably the worst baseball food next to hot dogs.
You're not working me into a shoot. Now,
Yes,
That's
he's trying.
I'm not. That's a real opinion I have.
That's
If
a
you want to give me,
troll.
if you want to give me, if you want to give me a real fucking hot dog with an actual bun and an actual grilled hot dog, then yes. Not the little fucking foil wrap bullshit you get from the ballpark. And the same goes for nachos. You want to make me some real nachos? Then sure. Not some reach into a bag, pour it on your plate, and then go to the cheese machine and go, here's your nachos. You guys are suckers. That's
no,
why I
I'm
like
talking,
crab fries. At least those are original.
I'm talking not just like the regular old, I'm talking like the actual like helmet nachos that you get, like in the helmet where they add in all, the multi kinds of cheese and the meat and all that. That's pretty good.
It's still just bagged chips.
Hey, I'll take those bag chips at that point. For me, I'm stuck between two. The All-American cheeseburger at Progressive Field, which you can find down to third base line, or cheese curds that I've had in Milwaukee,
Oh,
in a
that
specific
that
in Milwaukee.
that is high on the list.
Oh, you just pissed Paul off because now I can weasel my way out of him being right. You know what? Cheese curds are pretty good. No, I don't think anything. They have crab fries at PNC, right?
Yes,
Yes.
that's why we're going. That's why you wanted to go because you realized they had crab fries and you're like,
I
oh,
always forget that they
that'd be
I always
great.
forget that they have them at PNC.
That was the
Cool.
first place you had them.
They shouldn't have them at PNC.
They should have them at the other ballpark that we'll be at. I
Let's say
would.
they have. We'll see.
If I
Actually, I'm
were
glad you said that. I remember to text my baby mom and tell her to take those days off.
For peeling back the curtain a little bit more.
how much of the curtain are you just run into
I,
the
I,
man's
I they
house
they are
and
they already know I have kids. It's I mean, unless I adopted two children, I wasn't much deductory like
We're talking
that I would
about.
have a
Have you guys
baby mom.
have you guys talked about the trip?
no,
There
no,
you
we
go.
haven't actually.
No, Paulie ditched last week and broke our streak of going weekly that I was up and ready for. So
I doubt that. I really do doubt that.
no, I texted you. What do you mean?
Yeah, real quick.
At, how did
I
this turn into a
texted you. Like,
roast
what do
of
you mean?
me?
Wizard comes once
What
again.
do you mean you doubt that? I texted you.
You are the most notorious napper I've ever met.
Okay, first of all, I work third shift, so that's unfair to me.
That's not unfair. You napped for 12 hours. That's not a nap at that point. That's just going to bed.
That's because I work at night. What do you mean, weirdo?
But
Like,
you call
what
it a
else am
nap.
I supposed to sleep?
You literally call it a nap. You go,
This
a
guy's
nap.
like, this guy. I don't sleep for 12 hours. This
If
guy, you're
okay,
weird. Just because we're not,
if given the
everyone's not like you,
opportunity,
Paul,
you would do it.
that only sleeps for like 3 hours at 5 in the morning. Okay,
I really need to get
well,
some sleep.
Paul sleeps from the hours of like 5 to 11 a.m.
How much of the curtain are you going to peel back tonight? God.
We could pull back some more if you want.
To finish this question, mine would be probably the Akron Rubber Ducks, not your routine poutine. It was fantastic. It is one of the few foods that I've
Yeah,
eaten at the
right.
ballpark that I completely finished. Like there was
You
nothing
don't
left
you
over.
don't
That was
you don't
fantastic.
remember the White Sox?
I thought about Italian beef, but I did have
Because
that
that
other.
I think personally, like witnessing you try other foods, I think that's your favorite.
Look, the White Sox version, I'll give you, but the Cubs version was dry and disappointing, and that
I'm not talking.
goes
Did I
into
say
effect.
Cubs? I said the White Sox game. I couldn't even remember what it was. I just remember you being in love with that stand, and I didn't know what to get, and the guy helped me out, and that shit was fucking delicious.
That's
Paulie
probably
loved that.
uh,
Paul slurped that shit down too. He was
pause. Okay, now
Even
we're
though we hate, even though
Episode
we
11
hated the
is going to
seats
be
so
long.
much. Those were good seats.
We almost died.
No, we didn't. I'm hoping to catch a foul ball, or not a foul ball, a home run at PNC as we're sitting on the Clemente Bridge,
Wall.
like
Clemente
just in
Wall.
lawn chairs. No, the bridge and lawn chairs.
It's closed to foot traffic.
Why? Oh, my
they're doing.
nose.
I can confirm that.
Oh, great. Is the backdrop going to look ugly?
No, it does actually. You could still see.
It
Um,
looks ugly.
no, it still looks. It still looks fine. Like there's no tarp or anything. Like use it. The view looks fine. It's just closed off because they're still doing construction on it.
Poor Pirates. Why don't they move somewhere else? Like to Horsham. The Horsham Pirates.
Outside of Philadelphia?
Or Wexford.
I don't know any other cities in Pennsylvania, to be honest.
Yeah,
Moon.
Monroeville, Wexford,
Cranberry, Erie,
Monroeville's in Pennsylvania?
yeah,
Harrisburg,
Perrysburg? There you go. The Perrysburg Pirates.
Nesquehoning, Allentown,
What did you call me?
Scranton,
My name is
Wilkes-Barre.
Justin. Scranton, isn't that where those people are from?
Define those people.
What the hell?
Isn't that from The Office or something?
Yes. Yes, it is.
Okay, so y'all knew exactly what I was talking about.
I don't because I don't watch The Office.
I don't either.
They should relocate the Scranton and call themselves the Briggs. The Briggs and Scan.
The Cleveland Browns have unveiled a new helmet for the
Boo.
first time
Boo.
in, I honestly can't remember how long.
If
It
you're
is-
excited about that helmet, then you must be excited about fucking water.
I have two comments to make on the Browns.
They really took a white helmet, painted an orange stripe on it, painted two brown stripe on it, and said, check this shit out, y'all.
So I have two
And
comments.
people were like, oh my God, it looks awesome. Really?
So,
Like, you guys are so lame.
I have two comments on this. Number one, obviously, as an outsider from this, there was something that was off about the helmet, in my opinion. I don't know what it was. There was something off about it, but I understand the history of the helmet because that was the first helmet that they wore when the team became a thing in 1946. So
Yeah, well, guess what? You would have to actually win games to do justice to if you want to do history to a team.
Oh, to be fair, I mean, there was
They
not too
won the
far after
1946
they became a team, but they were.
championship.
Yeah, I mean our team. I mean the team that's trying to that's going to be the oh, they have history to them. Well, then you better do them proud or we're just going to go out there and suck ass like we normally do.
Well, considering that one of the games that they'll be wearing that is Monday Night Football in Acrisure Stadium in Pittsburgh, which there's a shot I may or may not be at.
Acra shit stadium. They made that too easy.
Yeah, I mean you're not wrong, but yeah, there was something
Acrisure Stadium.
There was something off about that helmet. But if we're going to talk about helmets for the Browns, it is a crime to society for them to not make the white face masks their permanent. I as an outsider, as a Steeler fan, I really like the shiny orange helmet from when they were like that white helmet with that shiny orange or the shiny orange helmet with the white face mask that they wore from like 99 to like 05 were pretty damn good. Those with the uniforms that they have now, they'd be a whole lot better. I'm not a fan of that whole matte orange with and then the brown face mask. No, that just looks ugly.
Can I ask a question? The Cleveland Browns logo, their official logo, is an orange helmet, correct?
Yes.
So why would you modify the helmet, which is your identity? You've put that much work and time into making that your identity, and then you not only change it, you change it to the most boring, bland, ugly, just like I get that it matches the uniform and the jersey. I think I don't want to speak for you guys, but I like the jersey. The white jersey top is a cool looking jersey.
Are you talking about like the anniversary one that they
Yes,
had?
that's the
Yeah,
one they're going to wear it with.
I actually do like those.
That is a nice jersey, but the helmet sucks.
I'm gonna tell you again, it's because of two things. Number one, they're gonna say that it's to bring back a little bit of history of the team, and number two, because once again, more money.
See, I don't, and I respect the history of football. I've been to Canton enough times, gone through there, read all about it. I get it. It is an amazing sport. But to try to replicate
You don't
the
even like football.
to try to replicate the helmets of the past in the present is almost impossible. At one point, they were just a brown leather mask that you wore over top of your chrome to make sure that you didn't get hit. They weren't protective.
I'm just saying that those would be the two reasons.
I'm just here
Well,
so I don't get fined.
quick
Just
expectations
here
for
so
the
I can hopefully get
2020
the ball on the 1 yard line.
quick expectations for the 2023 Cleveland Browns.
Hater the hater in me, 0-17. The real like me being realistic, I think I mean, look at the history. I mean, if you want to say outside of 21 with Baker getting hurt, for the most part, you've had pretty good luck with your star players staying healthy. I think the biggest factor, now you could say the defense, blah, blah, blah. Now, the defensive line has gotten a little bit weaker with Perry on Winfrey. The whole situation is just a whole debacle in itself. I think the biggest thing is how will Stefanski, how will that scheme go with Deshaun Watson? Because when you look at schematics of this, the offense that Deshaun Watson runs the best versus what Kevin Stefanski runs are two totally different things. Baker Mayfield was the kind of quarterback that you could run Stefanski's system with a lot of 12 personnel, a lot of boot action, blah, blah, blah. Not with Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson is the guy that you need to spread it out. You need to throw the football a lot. You still need to get, obviously, Nick Chubb will need to get his touches, but that's going to be the biggest thing. And obviously you can say, yes, just what is Deshaun Watson going to, if he's going to be good, then fine, whatever, then you have a better shot of winning. That's obvious. If they still try to run that Kevin Stefanski style offense, then that just is, to me, that's going to scream disaster.
Jay, you want to chime in on the Cleveland Browns for 2023?
Yeah, can you all just win some games, please?
Fair.
How many?
Some, any.
2.
Not
I
be
gotta,
last in the division.
I,
I'm really,
yeah,
I gotta say, I'm about through with the Browns. I'm about through giving them money. I'm about through speaking their name. They don't give a shit about us. We signed this. I'll just say, man, I'll keep it clean onto our team,
Number 4.
and last year before the season started, these two can attest to it. I said I was probably just going to go back to being an Eagles fan. I grew up being an Eagles fan, and um, Eagles were competitive last year, very competitive. If y'all watch football, you would know. So that was great. Um, Fell a little bit short, and I don't see I don't see a Super Bowl being worth the crimes and the sins that this man has committed. And there's some stuff that, it happens and blah 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 blah, like the cream hunt incident. Hey, you can shoot me, you can say whatever you want, but you call someone the N-word, I don't know what you expect to happen half the time. Or racial slurs, whatever she was doing. I'm pretty sure that was the whole argument, wasn't it?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't, then I don't know. But all I'm saying is, and people, we can sit here and you can yell and scream in my face because I'm a man. I'm a white male. I guess he's not a white male, so that doesn't really make sense. But we're both men here. So I understand the whole give them opportunity and all this crap and innocent until proven guilty. But you don't get 23, 24, like people coming out and saying the same thing. And you just kind of like, you can't just, I don't know. Anyway, it's really hard for me to just be okay with all that and then just be like, yeah, go Browns. It is also hard for me. I don't know if I've said it on here. I know I've said it to like you guys before, but it's hard for me to give up on people like Myles Garrett and Nick Chubb because those are men that have worked really hard for this organization and stuff like that. And that's not fair to them to give up because of the actions of somebody else. So so at the end of the day, I'm in a real tough position. I know several people. I know, one of our friends who is a lifetime Browns fan, arguably one of the biggest Browns fans I knew, and he's completely not a Browns fan anymore. He has a daughter and he's like, I'm not a Browns fan anymore. I can't root for the Browns anymore.
I don't know who that is. You'll have to tell me off air who that is.
It's Jaybird. It's Jeremy.
Okay.
I'll say it's not a secret.
Further.
Oh, I would say it's not a secret. He openly admits it. I would say it's not like it. He'll tell you. You could go on Facebook right now and put on his wall, "Hey, why don't you root for the Browns?" And he'll be more than happy to tell you. I mean, like I said, he has a daughter, so and it does make me look at he actually. Now that I mentioned that, he is someone I look up to as a fellow father. He takes care of his kid. He raises his kid. So for him to form that kind of opinion, I don't have a daughter for anyone watching this. I have two sons. So for him to form that opinion also kind of pushed me in the same direction. Like, okay, if he thinks that, then, maybe there is, maybe you can't do much, but I cannot support him. So I'm not against the Browns, but I'm not for the Browns. It's just it's tough because I'm rooting for Myles Garrett. I'm rooting for Nick Chubb, but that front office and that quarterback can suck it. Like, is pretty much where I'm at. Like, so whatever happens, happens. I do love my city. That's also another thing that's really hard for me is I really love my city. I want my city to be happy. I want to go drive downtown after winning a Super Bowl and see a parade and have everyone the next day, 1, 2 in the morning, driving around honking their horns and shit. Like, I would love all that. It's just, like I said, it's a tough position morally. If you don't have any morals, then it's an easy position. Hell yeah, we got a top 5 QB. I also don't think he's going to be top 5 this year whatsoever.
No, I don't either. I think the regression is there. I think that's one of the reasons why Houston.
I also don't think he has anyone to throw to.
Well, I think that's why Houston was eager to unload him. I think they saw something in his regression that they were just like, this is going to get worse. He is on the back half of that bell curve. Let's get what we can and move on. And
I'm not high on Amari Cooper. I've never been that. What, Jeff? What are you looking at?
Not about what you said, about what Paulie said.
About regression?
I don't think Houston's seen any regression.
Last I checked, the last time that we saw Deshaun Watson play a full season, he was the league leader in passing yards and the team just completely dismantled absolutely everyone and gave him no one to throw the football to. And if you want to, and I'm saying this as a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, I'm going to say this. Those 6 games, I don't know what the hell I'm doing with my arms. I might look at the camera real quick. Me personally, I'm throwing those 6 games. I'm throwing them out the window. because to me, there's two things I look at it. Number one, I don't. He's learning that offense fully because throughout the weeks they install new things. He wasn't able to be a part of those installments, so he's having to learn a brand new offense, all this new concepts in just a short period of time. Number two, I personally don't believe that offense that they ran in 2022. I don't think that was nowhere near the offense that they're really going to run in 2023.
Yeah, that was just preseason. That was just preseason for
It was a
Deshaun Watson.
They went back for 6 games for him, and it was a 6-game preseason because when he came back that first game against the Texans, they had less than 1% chance of making the playoffs. So what is the point of putting real tape
Yeah.
there for
Yeah.
teams, for these defensive coordinators to study in 2023?
Try shit, see if there's anything that'll click there or anything like
And-
that. And he's still and correct me if I'm wrong because I'm not paying that close attention to the Browns, but wasn't he good in those 6 games? I thought he was like pretty good.
And he had a couple throws throughout, but I mean, for the most part, there was a decent amount of struggling. But here's the thing: if you expected him to come out and just immediately light it up like no tomorrow, I'm sorry, you are absolutely stupid. Because
That's like the whole calling Bo Naylor up situation. He's not going to come out the freaking gates hitting home runs left and right.
And the other thing too is, and it's something that I think that was Jay that said about the receiving core. Amari Cooper, while yes, he is a pretty damn good receiver. Now is he top 5, whatever? No, but he is a pretty good receiver.
I don't even think he's top 10.
Outside of that, right now your wide receiver core is still not the greatest in the world. You drafted a guy with your first pick, I want to say in the second or third round. I forget his name. And then
we still got DPJ.
You still have DPJ. He has 1 year left on his deal. He was close to 1,000-yard receiver last year. So it's like, but at the end of the day, yeah, you don't have a whole lot. And right now, there's still injury issues going on with camp for the Browns. So, including Anthony Schwartz, which I know he's a big hot commodity to talk about among Browns fans, especially with camp. But
if Deshaun Watson does come out and throw like the quarterback we expect him to be, DPJ will be a all-star.
He was
Pro
almost
Bowler.
a 1,000-yard receiver with Jacoby Brissett, which, don't get me wrong, he played pretty well for being a backup for those 11 games, all things considered.
I don't understand how he hasn't gotten a contract yet. That dude's a monster.
He's with Washington.
DPJ?
Oh, no, DPJ. No, he has 1 year left on his deal, and I think
that's what I thought. That's what I was like. I thought you just said he was with us still.
Yeah. Well, let's see. So yeah. So this offseason was his first year that he was eligible for an extension, and
speaking of Washington, real quick, just to touch on that, just in case anyone watching doesn't know, they were sold to a new owner. I don't know who it is. Is it anyone important?
He owns the Philadelphia 76ers and the New Jersey Devils.
Okay, there you go. And
Magic Johnson is also a part of that group.
He is completely open. He hasn't said he's going to, but he said he is completely open to changing the name again, as he's not a huge fan of the Commander's name.
That's because the short version of it is the commies, and you're in Washington, D.C. Anybody with any brain cells would have known that wasn't going to work.
Well, again, this is also Dan Snyder we're talking about. So,
as I stated before, anybody with any brain cells would have known that wasn't going to work.
Who, by the way, was fined $60 million for not being truthful about the money, and also for, I think it was something to do with, he was like, did something sexual to one of the workers. So
that is the most vague thing
I
I've heard in quite some time.
I don't remember exactly what the terminology was on it.
Gross misconduct.
That sounds about right.
But yeah. You know what's ironic is I'm the non-Browns fan here, and I was the one that was most excited about that question because, yet again, I'm also the football guy. I
don't know how long you go. I don't know how long you go. I wish I could talk to the dead because I want to talk to someone who rooted for the Browns for 50 years and never got anything out of it. And I want to know if they would have done it all over again.
careful on that one because we already have that answer. The Chicago Cubs. There are many, many people who rooted for the Cubs for the 100 years before they beat us in the World Series that got nothing and had to sit through bad baseball. So it's kind of like playing the lottery.
So what was the answer? Would they have done it again? You can talk to
Yes,
the dead.
the people have said no matter what, they would have done it all over again just because there was that lottery ticket. There was a chance that it was going to be their year. And that's all this is. It's a lottery ticket. You're hoping that it's
But it
your
never
year.
was.
I mean, I I personally can't speak on that. So in terms of football,
It's tough. It's very tough to consistently be bad and not watch ownership try to make changes to fix it. And then when they
I think there's a big difference in when you say it's tough to watch your team be bad. It's tough to watch my team not want to compete. The Cleveland Guardians want to compete. The Cleveland Cavaliers want to compete. The Cleveland Browns, I just seem like they're completely content with just selling tickets.
that's because they are. I mean, realistically, people will still show up at Cleveland Browns Stadium, and it is Cleveland Browns Stadium again, just because there's a
For
game
now.
at 1 o'clock
For now.
on a Sunday afternoon. That's part of the problem. You're rewarding futility. Stop going to those games. Stop showing up and paying them for that. Like, take that money and put it into the Guardians, put it into the Cavaliers. They're trying. Hell,
we all know that. We all
put it
know
into the Cleveland soccer
Sometimes they're not
club that
on.
we have. Like, for me, I want them to do well for the people who are rooting for them, who have been rooting for them blindly for as long as they have. Because, for lack of a better term, the Cleveland Browns franchise is cursed. How
Ooh.
how else do you have the greatest head coach of the modern era of the NFL and let him leave before you can even let him show what he's got? And we have proof of how great his coaching tree from just the Cleveland Browns organization time is. So, first and foremost of all, Art Modell should not go into the Hall of Fame. Fuck Art Modell. I watched my dad cry because of that lousy son of a bitch. I hope whatever part of hell he is burning in, it is the hottest place in that godforsaken hellhole. Because what he did to the city of Cleveland and to this fan base alone means he should be immediately disqualified from ever being considered for the Hall of Fame. Because if you are that damn good, you do it right fucking here. You put the money into the team and you do it here. You don't go to Baltimore, steal our team in the middle of the night, fire a generational coach, and then get your championship like a little bitch in another city. Fuck Art Modell. Fuck his family, too. Fuck them all. Because that little bastard ruined Cleveland Browns football for 30 years. If we're being completely honest, Cleveland Browns football never recovered from Art Modell to this very day.
You know what's ironic?
Yeah.
So I asked someone earlier.
And fuck Tim Herron, too.
And the Yankees.
So I had a conversation with someone earlier this week who
pretty sure my next door neighbor is pissed at me right now.
I want to say he's in his 50s. So he lived that, he's seen a lot of Browns. And I asked him straight up about that. And he straight up goes, if he was the case, and he's a diehard Browns fan, he said he would still put him in a Hall of Fame.
That's great. Good for him. No. And I'll even go, I'll give you another reason why you don't do it. Let's just look at this from a purely financial standpoint. Fair? They're going to have to make a bust of Art Modell, which is going to be sitting in Canton. which is going to be vandalized every day for the rest of humanity's existence, because there is not a single Cleveland Browns fan who is going to go into that building who is not going to want to break that statue, that is not going to want to deface that statue, that is not going to want to do something humiliating, maybe teabag that statue. I'm sure they can get it down off the little thing and teabag it just in time before security shows up. This is a bad idea. This is a financial problem for the Pro Football Hall of Fame. You are better off letting him get inducted into the Ring of Honor in Baltimore, where he wants to be known, than putting him into a position of prominence in the state and in the community that he screwed over the most. I'll say this much. If the Pro Football Hall of Fame was in Texas instead of Canton, this wouldn't even be an issue. But it's in our own backyard. And you don't think that Cleveland Browns fans are not going to make a pilgrimage every single day to ruin his legacy? And rightfully so. Now I'm going to have to make another segment. Fuck Art Modell. God damn it.
I've now created 2 segments for you guys on this.
You didn't create the other one. That was an original Pauly idea.
This is what should really happen.
Now I called myself Pauly. God damn it. I'm going into timeout. I'll be back in
Wait
5.
until yopauly.com becomes a thing.
It already is. It's in my Twitter profile.
It's not a real thing.
Go click on the link to my Twitter profile.
I'd better not get some sort of gift that says D's nuts. I swear to God, I'm not in the mood for a D's nuts.
I would be in.
Good thing it's not D's nuts.
It's just gonna be a big old picture of Pauly.
It's be that picture, his middle school picture.
Oh, I would really hate you for that.
And it says Pauly
it really
the Hammer.
Is yopauly.com.
I told you. What, do you think I was lying?
Where does this go?
It goes to yopauly.com. What do you mean? Did you never notice that in my Twitter?
No, who looks at your profile? Creepers, maybe.
To make sure they check out my website.
New followers?
Good God.
That's who would see it.
It's taking forever to load. My internet's going slow.
There's a lot on there.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
There's a picture of you from the fountain in Chicago.
Okay, you did not buy
it. It just loaded.
The video
just loaded up.
It's got the video of you and Spencer when you were like, you like throw a big old fit at the MLB game.
I don't know how many more times we're gonna have Jeff on, so this will be
hey, this was
a treat for us all. This was my idea. I guess I wanted to kick myself in the testicles all day.
What's wrong with Jeff? Jeff's not even doing anything.
Because Jeff's just you get this hero thing where you think you can go and say and do anything. Like anything's possible because Jeff's here, and then you just go with it.
I do that anyway.
No, you really don't.
That's because Jeff's a supportive friend, and he always laughs at my jokes. So I feel like I'm always funny.
Pauly doesn't know what to say. Oh, as he has to quench his thirst based on the.
Anyway, go to yopauly.com, buy our merch.
There's no merch. There is no.
Follow us.
Oh, really?
Follow us on Twitter. Follow us on Facebook.
You can't follow people on Twitter anymore. Twitter doesn't exist.
I mean, really? Because I was just on Twitter.
It'll be X.
What do you mean?
By the time this video goes public.
Because right now, yeah, I'm on Twitter.
Wait, really?
Yes, Elon Musk is rebranding Twitter.
I'm
It's no longer going to be Twitter. It's going to be X.
on Twitter.
Why?
Which,
Because
by the
he's
way, you
Elon
have to
Musk.
follow me.
No, I like Twitter. Why is he ruining it?
Which, by the way, that's why you
Damn
should
you,
go.
Elon Musk. Send me a Tesla.
We're almost out of time here. So the Cleveland Browns were not the only team in Cleveland to launch a new look. The Cleveland Monsters have rebranded. They are now black and blue, and it looks wonderful. It matches the Outdoor Classic scheme. So if you were a fan of that game, like I was, we got what we wanted. It looks awesome. It looks authentic. It looks Cleveland. It looks hockey. It looks awesome. And the first game is October 20th at home against Syracuse. Tickets are available now. I'm trying to make that happen with my brother, so that could be a lot of fun. Black and blue hockey is a great branding. It's just great. I love it. Before we get out of here, though, oh yeah, I also have to mention briefly that if you are a fan of Ohio Championship Wrestling, you might have noticed that our contract with Believe Land Media and Ohio Championship Wrestling has ended amicably. They are currently negotiating, and that is what it is. I'm not involved in those negotiations. So, as of right now, in the wrestling world, I guess I'm a free agent. And that's a very weird situation to be in after 4 years with Ohio Championship Wrestling. They have an awesome show coming up on Saturday, August the 19th at Kim Tam Park at Melanie Spring. That is Beach Bash 4. And I plan on getting a ticket and going to watch some great wrestling. So if you're looking for something to do on August the 19th, come check it out. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Autograph.
As for me, there is no Yo Pauly autograph. As for me,
oh really?
Shut up. I am a free agent, which means that if any wrestling organization is looking for a commentator, my contacts are open. Let's see what we can make happen.
Hey, this is Double Play CLE, not your free plug-in. Paul.
You just plugged yopauly.com, which I don't even know what that is because I can't get it to load on my phone.
That is to help us
you.
And sell merch and to get new followers.
Oh, I'm going to look at that when I get off this so much.
Ew, that's gross.
And once again, it's this picture.
Could you at least use a different picture?
No.
Yeah, the one from middle school. Then the one with
the one with you have that. I scrubbed those photos. I know I did.
The one with you with your number one fan at the flea market. What other one is on there? I can't remember.
You know what? It's almost time to end this show, but we do that.
Oh, ironic.
We do that with some positivity because we don't want to get out of here on a negative, and especially not today.
Negative for you. It's not negative for me and Jay.
What's negative? Yeah, right.
2 beats 3, and I'm built like 2, so it's really 3 out of 4. So therefore, you lose.
My God, it's time for my one thing. On our final segment of the night, my one thing. Jeff, you may not know about this segment, but it's our fun, positive segment where we try to predict something that will happen within the next week. Positive that could happen, that we think could happen. I'm 0 for 2 so far.
Well,
although apparently I did pretty well on the home run derby.
I can guarantee you mine will happen. You ready for this?
That's pretty bold. Go for it.
The Pittsburgh Steelers will post one clip and Steeler fans will go absolutely bonkers at training camp. That is a guarantee.
Yeah, well, that yeah, I guess that does.
So therefore, once again, the slippery wizard prevails once again.
I guess that does fall into the parameters of what we suggested. So
therefore, Therefore, we'll just cheers to that.
Well, you got me there. I'm going to go check out yopauly.com, apparently.
Jay, what about you?
I think that our merch sales will double and that we'll gain 50 new followers because they like to watch Paulie writhe in pain.
What?
I could help out more with that.
Okay. I'm going to let that load on my phone against my will and make my prediction. My
That's
prediction
because I have your
is...
IP blocked.
Oh my God, you are not that tech savvy.
That way, I'm not, but I know people who are.
I know a
Did you
guy.
just use the phrase, I know people?
I did. I used to work at Pawn Stars for a little bit. I know a guy.
Let me give him a call and we could talk and we'll have him check this out and I'll be able to make you an offer. And therefore, in this case, there is no offer because it's happening.
Okay.
My one thing for the week is going to be that Josh Naylor is going to hit 4 home runs this week
What is with you and always guessing these high number home runs?
because I want it to be positive. I want to take a shot in the dark at something that could be really fun. I guessed the correct number of home runs in the home run derby now, didn't I?
You did not.
Shut up. This is supposed to be a positive segment.
Okay. Well, you can't lie to our viewers.
I can do whatever I want. I'm Yo Pauly. Damn it!
Joe Paulie.
And why is this taking so long?
Why is what taking so long?
Loading this website that might not even be real.
Because I have your IP address blocked, bro.
No, you don't. Otherwise, this wouldn't be happening right now.
I don't have my IP address blocked from your IP address. I have the website blocked from your IP address. You don't even understand how it works.
Yeah, you don't even like football.
Yeah, you don't even like football. I said it earlier. You didn't even back me up, Jeff.
Jeff, where can the people find you?
Y'all can follow me on YouTube. I have 2 channels. My podcast channel is Renegade Roundtable. We post every Friday on the podcast. We're gonna be ramping up a football season coming up, and I also have a personal channel Kirby's Corner with a K for corner. Posted just a bunch of random stuff, and y'all could go again. Let me go and pull up my Twitter at Jeff_Kirby412. Pretty close to 4,000, so make sure to go follow me. Or go follow me on X, whatever the hell it is. Yeah, go follow me on there.
Bro, look how long my hair is.
For Jeff Kirby and Jay, I'm Paul.
Look
Good
how long
night,
my hair
everybody.
is.